Treehouse Book Number 9, Dragon of the Red Dell, by Mary Pope Osborne. Chapter 4, Sushi and Sumo. Basho led Jack and Annie off the great bridge and down a crowded road. They passed huge stacks of lumber, then they came to a road of stage built along the riverbank. On one stage, women were dancing. Their faces were painted white. They were shimmering kimonos and waved fans. Musicians played on the second stage. They played 3 string instruments that blew on bamboo flutes. The music was high-pitched and strange, but Jack liked it. Another stage was a puppet show. Puppeteers wearing black clothes moved a giant dragon puppet around the stage. A man stood from the side and told a story to the audience. From the back of the crowd, it was hard to hear him. "What's he saying?" said Annie. "He's telling the legend of the Cloud Dragon," said Basho. "The Cloud Dragon is one of the guardian animals of the 4 directions. She has power of flight and commands the rain clouds." "Cool," said Annie. Basho led them down past rows of stairs where craft people sold beads, clothes, kites, and paper lanterns. Some boys were holding up yo-yos for sale. Jack was surprised to see yo-yos in old Japan. Beyond the craft stalls were a row of inns and cafes. The smell of spices of grilled fish filled the air. "Yum," said Annie. Jack was hungry too. "Would you like to stop at the tea house?" Basho asked them. "Yes," said Jack and Annie together. Basho led them toward a small building with an open front. At the entrance, Basho slipped off his sandals. Jack and Annie did the same. They placed their sandals in the row of shoes that other people had left by the door. Inside the tea house, cooks stirred steamy pots over a wood-burning stove. People sat at long, low tables, eating with chopsticks and drinking from small cups. Several customers smiled shyly and bowed before Basho. "Basho must be a really famous teacher of the samurai," said Jack. It made Jack feel important to be with him. Basho led them to a table and sat cross-legged onto a straw mat. Jack and Annie did the same. A waiter with a kerchief on his head hurried to the table. "Welcome to our humble tea house, Master Basho," he said. "Thank you," said Basho. "Everyone's so polite in Japan," Jack thought. The waiter handed Jack and Annie Basho white towels. "Thank you," said Jack and Annie. The wash by Basho wiped his hands on the towel. He and Annie did the same. Then they all gave the towels back to the waiter. "I would like a plate of sushi for me and my 2 students, please," said Basho. "Thank you," said the waiter boldly. While they waited for the food, Jack studied the people in the room. He noticed that even little kids were eating with chopsticks. He and Annie had never had much luck using chopsticks in Asian restaurants back home. Soon the waiter brought over 3 plates of small cakes of sticky rice, wrapped in dark green paper strip. He also brought napkins and 3 pairs of chopsticks. When the waiter had gone, Basho spoke to Jack and Annie in a soft voice and no one else could hear. "We call this sushi. It's rice with pieces of raw fish in the middle." "Raw fish?" said Jack. He gulped. "What's this part?" Annie pointed at a papery wrapping. "Seaweed," said Basho. "Seaweed?" said Jack. "It is very good," said Basho. Jack was hungry, that he was willing to try anything, even raw fish and seaweed. His only problem was the chopsticks. "Try it this way, Jack," said Annie. She carefully picked up a piece of sushi between the wooden ends of her chopstick. Jack copied her, but as they both tried to bring their food to their mouths, the pieces of sushi fell onto the table. Jack and Annie laughed and tried a second time. Annie was successful, but Jack dropped his sushi again. Without thinking, he grabbed it with his fingers and popped it into his mouth. "Mmm," said Jack. The vinegar tasted rice, the raw fish, and the green salty seaweed were delicious. But Jack stopped in mid-chew. 2 samurai at another table were glaring at him. One of the men had a big scar on his face. The other had fierce dark eyes. Jack's throat was dry swollen. "The sobbing biscuit was my chopsticks," he said. "They can tell I'm not from Japan." He picked up another piece of sushi with his chopsticks. He glanced at the samurai. They were watching him like hawks. Jack's hands were shaky. He tried to stay calm. He remembered a passage from the research book. Samurai did not show their feelings. They had great powers of concentration. Jack tried very hard not to choke his finger. He concentrated on holding the sushi with his chopsticks. He raised the sushi to his mouth and ate it calmly. He lowered his chopsticks and picked up another piece of sushi. He ate it calmly. When Jack looked back at the samurai, they were no longer watching him. Jack let out his breath. He picked up his last piece of sushi with his chopsticks and ate it calmly. "Very good," said Basho, smiling at him. "Thanks," said Jack. "Let us go now," said Basho. Basho folded his napkin neatly and left it. Jack and Annie did the same. Basho paid for their meals, and then they stopped at the entranceway to put on their shoes. As they stepped outside, a drum began beating loudly. A huge crowd had gathered on the grassy riverbank. "What's happening?" Annie asked. "Come, I will show you," said Basho. People moved aside so Basho could lead Jack and Annie to the front of the crowd. A large ring had been marked off on the ground with straw. In the middle of the circle, two enormously fat men squatted at opposite sides of the ring. Each man looked like he weighed more than 400 pounds. They clapped their hands. Then each began stomping his feet. "Who are they?" said Annie, her eyes wide. "Sumo wrestlers," said Basho. Sumo wrestling had been our most popular sport for over 1,000 years. The two sumo wrestlers were now perfectly still. Crouching down with clenched fists, they were glaring at one another. The whole crowd seemed to hold its breath as the wrestlers stared into each other's eyes. Suddenly, one wrestler leaned forward and grabbed the other. The hugely fat men began pushing each other around. "They are trying to force each other out of the ring," said Basho. Grunting and groaning, the two men moved backwards and forwards, and spectators cheered wildly. The one wrestler made a quick move and shoved his rival out of the circle. The crowd roared. Jack found himself cheering too. When the noise died down, Basho turned to Jack and Annie. "The first match is over," he said. "Shall we go now?" Before Jack and Annie could answer him, two samurai stepped in front of them. One had a big scar on his face, the other had very sharp eyes. "Excuse me," said the scar-faced man. "May we see your passports, please?"